How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another nightly review. Today we will be going over the Golden Knights' 3-2 loss to the Colorado Avalanche at Lake Tahoe. So let's get right into it. There was the Golden Knights had a horrible first 8 minutes of the game, including Gerard from McKinnon and Rantanen made it 1-0. The Golden Knights couldn't win puck battles, they couldn't pass. And that first commercial break was a big save for them. They looked awful. And in certain areas of this game, they were. The final score of this game, does not tell the story. The Golden Knights were starting to even up play until, with about 4 minutes left in the period, Mark Stone high-sticked Rantanen, and it drew blood, which made it a 4-minute double minor. And Fleury was really good. Fleury looked really good throughout the entirety of this game. Then there was too many men on the ice. Of course there was. And that made it 5-on-3 till the end of the period. And then the end of the first period. And the Golden Knights had not had a first period. They were outshot 17-8. They were lucky against the Avalanche that this was only a 1-0 game. But then something weird happened. They said about 5 minutes after the period ended that the next time hadn't started. This game started at noon, and it just got pushed back. The NHL was not expecting such a sunny day at Lake Tahoe, shockingly, and that made ice conditions not really good. So what they did was they delayed the game, the second and third period game, till 9 o'clock Pacific time. So the end of the first period was about noon, like 12:30, and the beginning of the second was at 9 p.m. So yeah, but they killed the remaining penalty time. Then Carrier takes a delay of game penalty, and the Avs got a couple big chances, and Fleury was the only reason that the game was still 1-1. And now we need to talk about this. William Carrier had a horrible game, including, so he hits Landeskog. And with that hit on Landeskog, he hit Landeskog in the face with a high elbow. No call, but I will be shocked if Carrier is playing against Colorado on Monday or even against San Jose on Thursday. I will expect him to get at least 2 games. I expect him to get at least 2 games for that, because that is a suspendable hit. I know that Landeskog wasn't injured, but man, that was a hit. Then, right after, though, Martinez gets a good goal from Pietrangelo and Smith right off of the rebound, and that was at the exact same second that Gerard had scored. So there were exactly 9 hours between each goal to the second. So, interesting. Then Riley Smith got a chance. Calvert got a chance back. And then Tyson Jost interfered with Stevenson. Stevenson then decided, I'm going to cross-check him and take an offsetting penalty. Well, it wasn't an offsetting penalty, but it made it 4-on-4. And on that 4-on-4, Nathan MacKinnon from Devon Taves makes it 2-1. Nathan MacKinnon, magical goal. I wish we had a cheat code like Nathan MacKinnon, but we don't. And MacKinnon would prove to be even more of a cheat code in this game. Landeskog then hit a post, and then Donskoy levels Fleury, including an elbow to his head, and then decides to shoot the puck in. Not only was it not a goal, but it's also a goaltender interference penalty. Then Tuck gets pushed in to Grubauer. It looked like Tuck jumped, but it's one of those borderline calls, but I'll accept it. where you could argue that he got pushed into Grubauer, but Tuck did jump, and he did not get pushed that hard that he would have jumped, so yeah. But then Burakovsky high-sticked Pietrangelo, and that took everyone to the end of the period. Colorado's up 2-1, and they outshot the Golden Knights 13-8. The Golden Knights struggled mightily to get chances on Grubauer. Grubauer didn't play an incredible game. I know his stats look really good, but he didn't play incredibly. The Avalanche just limited chances, and the Golden Knights got way too fancy with their passing, especially the second line. I'm starting to think that they need to break up that second line, maybe try out, Tuck on the second line, or take Stevenson out, put him on the third line, put Glass on the first line, and just fiddle around because the third line looks really, really good. And the fourth line looked really, really bad. Even on the advanced stats test, the fourth line was horrible. So I'm starting to think that maybe, hopefully, if Nosek's back by next game, then Nosek and Reeves maybe, but they need to try something with that fourth line. Maybe trade acquisition at some point, but man. Then we go into the third. The third period, not a lot of high scoring chances, really. There was a 5-on-3, because Kadri tripped Kolasar, and Makar had a delay of game. The Golden Knights got no good chances. Their 5-on-3 power play, they just stood around and passed to each other. They don't move on the power play, and that's what hurt them. They need to move around, make the defenders chase, because the defenders got to sit in their little triangle and just block everything. They were being too cute with the passing, and the reffing on both sides had been pretty bad. I'm shocked for a Wes Macaulay called game that this was a pretty badly reffed game, because there were some major missed calls on both sides. But yeah. Then Devon Taves with a screen. Fleury had no chance from McKinnon and Rantanen. But then Alex Tuck scores an absolute highlight reel goal, spins around, top short side corner, backhand, and it made it 3-2 from Kolasar and Whitecloud. I know that Kolasar, at least when I looked last night, he didn't have the point, but Kolasar is the one that passed it to Tuck, so I'd be shocked if he doesn't have an assist on it. But yeah, Colorado, that left to the end of the game, Colorado let nothing happen. The Golden Knights really need to figure out how to score on Colorado if they want to win on Monday, because the Golden Knights have scored 5 goals in 3 games against Colorado, and yeah, they need to figure it out. Shots, the Golden Knights actually did outshoot Colorado 13-9, but ultimately the Golden Knights were outshot in the game 39-29. And yeah, the Golden Knights really, they just needed to play a more complete game, because the first period, horrendous. Parts of the second and third, their offense looked horrible. Their defense looked pretty decent the whole game, but yeah, they need to do better. But yeah, we'll see how it goes on Tuesday. I'm not really going to be too mad about it, because again, it is Colorado. I picked them to be the better team in the division, but if the Golden Knights want to beat them in the playoffs, they got to figure out how to score on these guys. So, yeah. And they got to figure out how to shut down Nathan MacKinnon, because Nathan MacKinnon had a couple plays in this game where he looks scary. Like, really scary. So, yeah. My 3 stars of the game, I'd have to pick Tuck, Martinez, and Fleury, because the third line looked pretty good. Martinez had some really good defensive plays, and Marc-Andre Fleury stood tall for most of this game. The goals that went in, I can't really fault him on, because the first goal was bouncing around on the ice. The second goal, magical play by MacKinnon. Just perfectly placed shot. No one makes that save. And Taves' goal, there was no chance Fleury saw that. 0. So, yeah, Fleury's my 3rd star. Or my 1st star, actually, sorry. But anyways, guys, if you want to get my how I feel about the game during the game. Follow me on Twitter on @2_pad. And yeah, that's it for this video. I will see you next time.